Welcome back, listeners. My name is Larry Kallevig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Haven Financial Group radio show, where weekly we discuss crucial retirement and financial topics that can really make the difference between surviving retirement, those wonderful golden years, or perhaps thriving through it, which we hope you do. So if you're listening today and go, I don't know if I have a plan, I certainly don't have a partner, I think I saw my tax person or my financial advisor more than once last year, or maybe he disappeared for the last 2-3 years, and you're not getting the attention you deserve. Maybe you don't know how much you're paying. Maybe you don't know if you're in a good spot for retirement. Whatever that may be, we'd love to visit with you. So check us out. Look up havenfinancialgroup.com. Get in touch with us this week. There's no cost for any consultations. Get to know us. You might be surprised. If nothing else, you could get some really valuable information that you maybe have been needing for quite a long time.
Yeah, we're talking about comfortability in retirement. And we've established the idea that you need consistent money coming in, as Larry likes to call it, mailbox money. But some of the things that could possibly throw that off and what you need to plan for before you make the determination how much needs to be in the mailbox. We want to talk, and I mentioned this at the end of the last block, life happens and emergencies happen, and we have to spend money that we maybe didn't plan to spend, whether it's a new car, it's a roof, maybe one of the kids needs a little bit of help. So you've got that emergency fund there. But once you start to tap into that in retirement, Larry, the question becomes, how do you refund that? How do you put money back in if you're not out making more money?
Well, let's face it, life's calendar certainly doesn't always cooperate with our calendar. And unexpected expenses, unexpected, not expected. They're going to come your way no matter what. Mm-hmm. Whether it's that medical bill that you weren't planning on, a home repair, the air conditioner, the furnace, the grandkids, they have birthday parties. Man, do they have them? Don't they have them so often? Emergency trip, whatever it is. How are you going to prepare for them? And are you depleting your savings? I'll use an example. One of our clients, she's a widow. She was in this past week. I saw her on my calendar. It was due for a quarterly review. By the way, we don't have any quotas to how many times we can get together. We'll get together as much as it gives you confidence to know you're in the right place at the right time. And so she comes in and she goes, my health care is going up. This is going up because everything seems to be going up. Not everything, because inflation is getting better. But so I go, how's your liquidity? She goes, it's being depleted. And she goes, it's down from 50-some thousand to 28,000. She's getting her taxes done by Lance. We see her tax situation, what it would be this year. I said, well, you have adequate assets. She goes, it doesn't feel like it. I said, well, you haven't depleted hardly anything for the last several years that you've been a widow and that I've known you. Oh, that's good. I said, we need to get your savings back up to $55,000 plus. She goes, that would make me feel good. And by the way, we were able to do that without having any major tax consequences. She left my office going, wow, I feel much better. It wasn't lip service on our part. It was the right thing to do. And it gave her confidence to know that I'm still okay. And on top of it, I said, I didn't know your late husband, but I know he would want you to enjoy retirement. And right now, you're still in a very good position to enjoy retirement. Right. It was a breath of fresh air, and it was the truth. Right. And that's where it really starts.
So that's sort of reallocating your funds, correct?
Reallocation is a form of that, or reallocation even within your investment accounts. It's something that should be done. It's what our investment team does, our wealth management team does. It's part of what we do and what people should be doing, because they miss great opportunities by their portfolios getting out of whack, getting out of balance. And that's what we do. Many people are not doing that in their returns. There's lots of studies out there. They're giving up the upside. And again, we want to make sure we're continuing to balance. And being we're talking about, how do we build up that savings account if it's being depleted? I just gave you one way we were able to help this week, but it's also tax season. Maybe you're the individual that's listening that gets a big refund, a tax refund. Now, I'm not going to get into the debate on is that smart? Is it not smart? For some, it is, because they're not disciplined enough to pay the tax. Others, not a good idea, because you're giving a loan to the government. maybe that's not appropriate. Or maybe getting close to zero, which I can tell you, Lance Larson, our CPA, in the planning, that's what he really loves. I'll tell you what, right now, every day at the end of the day, I've been asking him, so how did your day go? By the way, he gets really stoked about tax season. He goes, it went great. He goes, I was with the so-and-so this today, and he goes, they owed like $50 to the state, and they're getting about a $30 refund from the federal government. He goes, perfect. And guess what? There was no tax surprises. So if you're getting a tax refund, maybe get that into your savings account. Maybe you get quarterly bonuses or annual bonuses. Maybe that's a way to do it. Or I just had a newer couple, but just a great couple this week. I said, how'd you hear about us? Well, I went to one of your classes about 7 years ago. And he goes, I'm retired now. My wife is soon to be retired. And by the way, she goes, yeah, I'm definitely going to be retired. And we started talking. And at the end of the day, they just got an inheritance. Unfortunately, they lost mom and dad. It changed their whole retirement outlook. It can. And so that their whole liquidity, their whole retirement outlook completely changed. And we weren't counting on it, which, by the way, I think is the right way to look at inheritance, because I see folks that simply are just waiting for somebody to pass away to get an inheritance. And unfortunately, that really turns my stomach, but I see it often. So at the end of the day, there's a variety of ways to do it. And maybe it's just go back to the basics. And how about negotiating those expenses every year, whether it's insurance, whether it's that cell phone bill, the utility bill, whatever the expense that you have, you can, if you don't ask for something, you're never going to get it. Right. You might be surprised. They always like to take care of the new customer, but oftentimes the loyal customer, like my wife and I, it seems like, we'll be a customer for 25, 30 years and we don't get any deals, but the new customer, pick up the phone and ask them. You might be surprised, and they might honor some sort of discount that you unexpectedly didn't think they were going to honor. Hey, it's worth a shot.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, if you don't ask, you can't expect anything. That's for sure. Some other strategies, and again, we're talking about, refunding that emergency fund if in fact you've had to dip into it. Some of them might be budgeting and expense review, which obviously we've talked about that. The possibility of part-time work or freelance work. Now, how do you feel about that?
Hey, there's nobody said you can't work anymore just because you retire. In fact, I think of a newer client of mine. She's a single lady. She's worked all her life in a very stressful job. I met her about 3 months ago. And she came in and she goes, I am so stressed with this job. I'm ready to retire. I think I still want to work a little bit, but I got to get out of this environment. Mm-hmm. Well, she was at our Health and Wealth, the guest speaker we had, and she brought her sister in a similar situation. So now she's coming in and she goes, but I still have some years. I think I want to find, do something. So she's going to look at maybe becoming get a part-time job. I hear about people that, maybe stay on as a consultant, maybe doing something you enjoy. I get a lot of clients that retire and then they work at the golf course, a ranger. I think of clients in Prior Lake. I just saw them also at the event, and I said, how's retirement? He's got about 3 weeks under his belt, and she's got about 3 months. She is donating her time like nobody's business. And he goes, you know what I'm into now? And I said, no. He goes, I'm doing, he's into creating glass, like stained glass.
Wow.
And the stuff that he was doing, he took a class, and man, it was just beautiful stuff. So there's no limits to potentially what you can do. Right. In fact, my encouragement would be for many that do retire, you better find something to do, because just sitting on that recliner in the middle all this winter in Minnesota probably isn't doing you any favors.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So there are many strategies that you can employ if you are trying to refund an emergency fund that maybe you've had to dip into. But, sometimes we're limited to our own imaginations, and we need a partner to talk us through some of the ideas, some of the suggestions. We've named a few, but there's certainly many more. If you are looking for a partner to walk you through your retirement, help you either put together a plan, or maybe you have a plan and now you'd like to have it looked at and maybe reworked. give the folks at Haven Financial Group a call at 612-504-8400. Tell them you heard us here on the radio. Set up an appointment and go in to see them. Sit down with them. Tell them what it is that you're trying to accomplish. 612-504-8400 is the number. When we come back, we're going to talk about acknowledging vulnerability in the years after retirement. We're all vulnerable throughout our lives, but retirement years can be tough ones in that regard. And we're going to talk about that right here on the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.